Hello everybody, welcome to another video, and this week we are going to be making this absolutely gorgeous antique looking brooch, which I am absolutely in love with. I love historical jewelry, and so this is like right up my alley right here. So this is made using a brooch back that is this finding here, which is from Beebeecraft. And if you haven't seen my previous video where I did the unboxing, I will link that up here for you so you can go and check that out. But I will also put links for these items from Beebeecraft down below. And if you do order anything from Beebeecraft, be sure to use the discount code JEWELS10. And you'll get 10% off your order. Anyway, so you get a pack of 10 of these brooch backs, which is what we are beading around. So this is the back of the brooch, okay? And then I just beaded on the top of it, and it kind of transformed from that into that. And I also got these cabochons from Beebeecraft. Now, I'm not sure if they're back in stock. I know they went out of stock for a little while, but you don't have to put a cameo. I mean, you could put anything that fits into the brooch. You know, it could just be a stone. Doesn't have to be a cameo. I happen to really like the look of the cameo. Anyway, you get a pack of 10 and it's assorted colors. So I used the green one. I've got a burgundy one here. I think I got an ivory and some like black and white ones and some pink ones. So again, if you want to watch that video and see what I got. So these also, the cameos come in a pack of 10. And all you have to do here is glue the cameo into the brooch. And make sure that when you do it, you do glue the head the right way up if you're using a cameo. Obviously, if you're just using some kind of cabochon, you don't need to worry about that quite as much. And I'm just using some E6000, just put it on the back and stick it on, leave it to set for a few hours, and you're ready to go, okay? Then I'm also using from Beebeecraft, I got in the same order, this big spool of cup chain, okay? And this is an AB finished on it. And again, this will be linked down below. I mean, this was incredible value, and it's literally yards or meters of cup chain. And you don't need very much for this at all. You will need some wire cutters in order to cut short little pieces. So you're going to need to cut 3 things and 4. And it's very, very easy. So, so here you'll see, you know, 3, just a little bit of 3 and a little bit of 4 and a little bit of 3. So I just cut little short lengths off and then sewed that onto the beading. Then I also have here some 4mm pearls. You'll need 4 of those. So these are the pearls that are my green pearls here, okay? And you can see them on the back there, okay? You're going to need some 3mm pearls. So on this one, I used white. Here, I'm going to use this lighter pink color. And then I also have 4 3mm bicones with the AB finish. And they just sit right above the pearl, the colored pearl at the point, okay? And then the only other thing you need is some 11/0 seed beads and some thread. So the I'm using Miyuki. I'm using Miyuki number 1051, but you could pick any type that you want to use. And if you wanted, you could even do 2 different colors and make these embellishments a different color, and that way it would kind of look different, but I like the look of the silver with the silver of the brooch, kind of antique silver of the brooch. Okay, And obviously you will need a beading needle. I'm using a size 10 today. And you will need some scissors. And I am using today Dragonthread, but you can use any kind of thin thread that you like. But I would use a thin thread because you are going to be going through each bead multiple passes, okay? So, you know, if you're using Fireline, for instance, use the size 4 pound. Just use a thinner thread, okay? All right, I think we're ready to begin. Okay, so I highly recommend gluing in your cabochon before you begin rather than trying to do it midway through or after, just in case you kind of blob some glue somewhere. You don't want it to kind of get on your beadwork. So I am going to go ahead and make sure that, as I said earlier, that it is facing the right way. Just pop it in there, give it a little press down, and then I'm going to leave that for maybe an hour or two. I don't know. I'm going to go off and make a cup of coffee, and I'll come back in a little while, okay? And while I am waiting for that to dry, I can go ahead and I can cut my little pieces of cup chain. Now, every now and again, you may find a bit that it's gotten darkened, like here, this bit. I just cut that off. So all you have to do is figure out where you want to cut. It's actually really easy to cut it. Just go between the two stones and just give it a little snip. And that's all there is to it. It's very, very simple. So you're going to need 8 pieces that are 3 units long, and you're going to need 4 units that are 4 units long. So you can go ahead and pre-cut those while you're waiting for your glue to dry. So I will do that, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so once your glue has dried, you can go ahead and begin stitching. So put on as long of a piece of thread as you feel comfortable with. You will need to add more at some point. It does take quite a lot of thread. Okay, so to begin, we're going to pick up one of our 11/0s and push it down, leaving kind of a 4-inch tail, just enough that you can, with the length of your needle, sew it in at the end. I usually like to leave about 2 times the length of my needle. And we're going to do some brick stitch. So we're going to sew up through one of the holes on our finding, okay? And then I'm going to sew back up through towards the end of my thread. So here's the end of my thread on this one bead right here. I'm gonna just sew back through that, and that will attach our bead on to our finding. So we have our short end here, and we have our long end. And if you look at this, you'll notice that there's like little bumps, and then there's this kind of blob thing. So 2 11/0s fit in between each of these bumps. And what you want is you're going to brick stitch all the way around. So there's 24 of these little bumps in the middle here, okay? So you're going to end up brick stitching 48 beads in place. So I like to begin, when I begin, do one on one side of the bump and the other one on the other side. So to do the next stitch, let me bring you in a little bit. To do the next stitch, you're just going to pick up your next bead. You're going to come up through the hole, and then you're going to sew back. So if this is your thread that's coming under right here, okay, that's the side that you want to sew back up into that bead again through that same bit. And when you pull it, kind of try and get it to sit on next to this pillar here, okay? And all I'm doing with the other thread, I'm just holding on to it while I'm stitching this, okay? And we're just going to keep repeating this. So pick up another bead, sew through the same hole again, and then sew up through that bead, and then for the next bead, you're going to pick it up and you're going to sew through the next hole. So you're going to do 2 through each hole. Okay. And you're just going to continue this, brick stitching the beads, and you may need to kind of push them around a little bit. They may kind of double up on themselves. Just try to keep them as evenly spaced around the whole thing as you can. And it gets a little tighter on the sides because of the angle is flatter. And then you have a little bit more room down here because there's more of a curve. So it does work out in the end. So you will be able to get 2 in each gap. So just continue that until you have 48. And I'll come back when I'm putting on my very last one. Okay, so I am about to add on my very last bead here. So I will do that. And then to join the 2 together, first I'm going to have to kind of massage this a little bit just to get it down into the hole. Pulling out my other tail. Okay, I'm just going to sew straight down into the next bead. That is the very first bead that was we started with, and I'm kind of holding my starting tail so I don't accidentally pull it through. I'm getting a tangle here in my working thread. Okay, I got rid of my knot and I'm just pulling these 2 beads together, pulling my original starting tail up and my new bead down, and then I'm going to go up the previous bead, and then I'm going to tie these 2 ends together. So I'm just going to do a normal square knot. So I like to always put my needle on top first and then flick it under. Okay, so that is now knotted, and you will notice that it is a little bit crowded on the sides here. You see how they're kind of sitting up and down and buckling a little bit. That's normal. I would not recommend, I recommend using Miyuki seed beads. I wouldn't recommend bumping up to Toho because they are slightly larger. I know if somebody's going to ask me, can I use delicas? I would think so, because delicas are a little bit thinner than the rounds. So yes, I think you can use delicas, okay? All right, so once you have got your ends tied together, what you're going to want to do is work out which of these spokes is the middle, and I think it's this one here, okay? So what I want to do is I'm going to move back. You can either figure out a side spoke or an up spoke near the top, but because I'm near the top, I'm going to use that one, and I'm going to just move down and up through the beads until I get to one of the sides of my top spoke. So I'm just going down. I want to be coming out. So I could have stopped here if I was coming out of this side, but I'm on this side. So, okay, so these 2 beads are the ones that straddle my central spoke. So I'm coming out of one of them. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a kind of herringbone. So we're going to pick up 2 beads and go down the next bead. And then we're going to go up the next bead. We're going to pick up 2 and we're going to go down the next bead. And we're going to go up the next bead, and we're just going to repeat this the entire way around. So add 2, go down the next bead. Oh, that's my tail in the way. I don't want to get it sewn into a weird position. Once we add some more beads, we'll be able to get rid of our tail, but at this point we don't have enough beads to kind of sew into, so I'm just going to leave it for now. Also, it kind of gives me something to grip onto. Sorry, I forgot to come up the next bead. I don't like to cut my tails off too early, because also on this, you will need to go up and down some of these beads multiple times. So you don't want to fill anything up or block anything up with knots. The knot we made is between, see right here, so it's not blocking anything, so we'll be fine, but just be careful and wary of that, okay? Anyway, so you're going to just continue all the way around, adding 2 in pairs of herringbone. So I'll do that and I'll come back when I'm approaching the end. Okay, so I'm about to add my last pair on. And so just pick up your last one, go down, and then you can go up the next column. So up both of the beads. Sorry, one of mine is at an angle, so there we go. All right, so here we are. And you know, it is still a little ruffly. It's, you know, not sitting perfectly, but that's absolutely fine. So just make sure that you are coming out of your columns, your pair that is above the center bit here, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to pick up a 4mm bead, one of your 4mm pearls, and one of your 11/0s. You're going to push it down, and then you're going to go back down through the pearl and back down into the next column, okay? And you may need to kind of pull on your single little bead there to get it to kind of budge up. So what we now have is this bead is sitting between these 2 beads on this column, and that's just holding it on for now, okay? And then we're going to go up the next column. Okay, I'm just trying to get it kind of centered there, okay. So here we're going to add one of our 3mm pearls and a seed bead. Same thing, push it down, skip the seed bead, go back down through the pearl and into the next column. If I can get through my pearl. There we go. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard because of the coating on it, you know. So I was coming out, that's just my tail there. Don't look at that one, I'll try and keep that tucked. So I was coming out right here, I'm just gonna go down the next column, okay? And be sure to get that all budged up before you move on. So again, that pearl should be sitting between the 2 beads on the 2 columns. Now here, we're just going to add a row of normal, just 2 beads, okay? And we're going to go down both beads. Gonna go up both beads here. We're gonna add 2 more. We're gonna go down both beads. We're gonna go up. Add 1 more pair of 11/0s. Go down. And then go up in the next column. Okay, so here we're going to add first a 3mm, then a 4mm, then a 3mm, and then we're going to add 3 more pairs of beads here. Then we're going to add a 3, 4, 3, 3 more pairs, 3, 4, 3, 3 more pairs, and then we're going to finish off right here with another 3mm bead. So just carry on in the same way. So you're basically repeating the same pattern 4 times. So just, skip the seed bead, make sure it's all sitting nicely, and then go up the next column. Here we're adding a 4mm pearl instead of a 3mm. Pick up the seed bead, go back through the pearl and down the next column. And just always check on these that it is completely, sometimes you can get a little loop of thread and you don't notice it until later. So just, really be careful when you're adding the pearls. Oops, gotta remember to move up the next column. And if you're having trouble getting through them, just do 1 bead at a time, because with the herringbone, sometimes the top bead can sit off at a funny angle, so it can kind of make it difficult to get through them both in one go. That's okay. This project, by the way, I don't really recommend for beginners, because it gets kind of hard to get through some of the beads. I don't mean like they're full, I mean just it gets frustrating. I poked myself multiple times on the first one I did. So, you kind of need to have a little bit of confidence with this. Anyway, so just continue on. So you're going to have a 3, a 4, 3, 3 pairs, a 3, 4, 3, 3 pairs, 3, 4, 3, 3 pairs, 3, 4, 3. Okay, I'll come back when I have put on my last pearl up here. Okay, so I'm adding on my very last pearl right at the top here. And so this is what it should look like. You should have your sets of pearls on each side and 3 sets of pairs in between them, okay? So if you've got this, then you're doing it correctly. All right, so now we're going to go up the next column, just the 2 seed beads, and we're just going to go down this top bead right here. So we're just skipping the pearl altogether, okay? I'm going to go up this bead right here, and I'm going to go down the next bead right here. And anywhere there's pearls, that's what we're going to do, just to kind of skip that area for now, okay? Then we're going to have to go up 2 beads here, because we're coming out from the second bead here, but there's an extra bead here, so you have to go up 2, okay? So you're not going up the very bottom bead, you're going up the top 2 beads. You're going to pick up 1 bead and you're going to go down 2 beads. you're going to go up the top 2 beads on the next column. And here it's a little bit different. We're going to pick up 3 beads right now. We're going to go down the top 2 beads on the next column. Okay, so you're picking up 3, and it's going to make this peak a little bit longer than that one. Okay, and then we're going to go up 2 right here. We're going to pick up 1 bead here. We're going to go down 2. And then we're just going to bypass these pearls. So we're just going up the top bead under the pearl, down the top bead under the pearl. Up the top bead under the next pearl, down the top bead under the next pearl. Just be very careful not to get your thread looped on any of the pearls when you're doing this bit, okay? It's very easy. And see how I just got caught around that? That is one of the frustrating things about this project. The number of times my thread got looped on the other side of this brooch, like bits over here on my original, I cannot even tell you. And then remember here you're going up 2 because it's a little bit longer than the previous row. You're going to pick up 1. Okay, so you're going to continue doing this, and on these bits you're going to add 1, 3, 1. Then you're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. You're going to go up 2, add 1, down 2, up 2, add 3, down 2, up 2, down, add 1, up, down, up, down, up, down, okay, until you get back to over here where we started, okay? So I will continue adding my beads in this area, and I'll see you when I get back. Okay, so I'm adding on my very last bead at this corner, and so this is now what it looks like. And I'm going to go up the 1 bead underneath my pearl. So go up 1 right here, okay? So you added your bead, you came down 2 here, and then you're going up 1, okay? Then you're going to go up into your pearl. Oops. Like I say, this is the hazard of this project. It's just getting caught all the time on everything. Okay, so don't do it when you're in a bad mood because you'll just get very frustrated. Okay, so now I'm going to go through this 11-0 that's up at the top here, and somehow I managed to get myself looped around it. Okay, and I apologize if you can hear a lawnmower. I've told you so many times that it's impossible to find a time when there's not somebody either leaf blowing or mowing or doing something loud. Okay, so now we're going to embellish here, okay? So on the top here, between the top and the bottom, we're gonna pick up one of our 11-0s. We're going to pick up 1 3mm pearl and 1 11-0, and you're going to sew into the next 11-0 that's on the center pearl, okay? And then we're going to repeat that right here. So pick up an 11, a pearl, if I can get through the hole, and an 11, and you're going to go into the next bead. And just as you're going here, make sure that you're not getting caught on anything, okay? So we have this, and now we're going to pick up 3 11 O's, okay? And you're gonna go into this bead that is sitting on the top right here. And you're gonna go down 2 beads. So the top bead plus 2, okay? So that. Then you're going to go up 3 beads. So I'm skipping the very bottom bead. We're not going into the bottom beads at this point, okay? You're skipping the bottom bead. You're going to go up the top 3 kind of side beads, all right? If I can get up into it. There we go. Oops. Okay. I'm going to skip the very top bead and then I'm going to go down 3. Okay. So I'm just skipping that very top bead and then I'm going up 2 right here on the side. I'm going through this middle bead right here. Okay. And here I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads. So just 2 on the side right here. We're going to go into the bead that's sitting above the pearl. Okay, then we're going to pick up 3 seed beads. So 3 and another 3. So either side of the 4 millimeters on the side, you're going to have 3. Here you're going to have 2, but up here you're going to have a seed bead, pearl, seed bead, and here you're going to have 3 instead of 2, like at the top and the bottom, okay? So here I'm doing 3, and then I'm doing 2 into this next little point right here. And then I am going down 2 beads. Okay, so now I'm going to go up 3, skip the point, and go down 3. Then I'm going to go up 2. I'm going into this bead right here on this point. Okay, so here we only added 2. Here we're going to add 3. Basically, if you just remember that it's a little bit further apart at these ends because it's more flared out, so you need to add more. So we're going to add 3 here, going into our first pearl, or I guess the 11O above the pearl. Here is where we add a bead, a pearl, a 3 millimeter, and a bead, because only at the top and the bottom do you add these extra pearls. Oh. And if you find your 11O is twisted around, that's okay. Just kind of go into the nearest side that you can, and it'll, once you know it's in place, it'll stay the right way around, you know. So they just kind of go where they want to until they're told where to go, basically. And then here we're doing 3 into the next point right here. And my thread is getting very short, so I'm hoping I can make it back to here. So you're going to continue this. So you're going to go up 3, down 3. Then you're going to add 2, 3, 3, 2, up 3, down 3. And here you're going to just add 3 seed beads going across until you reach here. And so it should all look uniform once you get back to the beginning. So you can just follow the pattern of this and this, okay? And you should have this single little spoke right here. All right, so I'm gonna finish this off camera because I think I'm gonna have to change my thread, and I'll come back when I'm back here. Okay, so I made it back around and I completed my little bit right here, and I carried on and I managed to meet my other end and tie. So I now have several ends, and then with my new thread, I just went down and up, and then I tied a knot, and then I came up through the purl. So that's where I am right now with a brand new thread, okay? But I did finish that round. So if you need to tie off, that's kind of how I recommend doing it, is just going down and up and then tie the two ends together, and then you can carry on from there, okay?